Welcome to the Red Mountain Railroad.
In this Red Mountain Railroad video, I'm going to show you how to build a campfire. This campfire is located under the bridge going into Jaystown, the Main Street Bridge. I'm going to show you another view of it here in a second. Here's a view from above. I removed the bridge so I could take this view. But it's a nice little scene, and it adds detail to your model railroad. I actually have two campfires on my layout. Here's the other campfire on my layout. I've actually built a number of these for besides the two for myself, for some of my friends. So because I bought materials in bulk and I have a lot of stuff laying around, it's cost me roughly about $1/4 a piece to build one of these campfires. For sure, you should be able to do it for $1 or less. And even if you have to go and buy everything out right from the get-go, it shouldn't be more than a couple bucks. The materials you'll need for this project are a plastic straw. I got that one from Chick-fil-A. I didn't steal it. It was actually in my drink. Then a couple craft paints. I'm using Snow White and Neon Orange. Picked those up at Walmart for, I believe, 50 cents a bottle. A flickering yellow LED and a flashing orange LED. I bought those on eBay, and they amounted to 10 cents a piece. I bought, in bulk, but basically they were 10 cents a piece. A resistor, and we'll talk about that in a minute. A small piece of plastic or cardboard. I got a small piece of styrene there, that white square you see. And some little pieces of wood I chopped off of the bushes in the front yard. Those will be the logs. The only tools you need is a drill, 5/16 inch drill, about the size of the straw, and a soldering iron. The first thing I do is drill a hole through the piece of plastic, styrene, and it's very thin. Keep it from spinning in my finger. Whoops. I think we got it, just about. Yeah, that would about do it. I just trim it out a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do here is take that piece of styrene and kind of cut a circle around it. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to be painting it and putting some firewood on it eventually. And then the next thing to do is cut off about 2 inches of the straw. I guess just do it with this scissors right here. Okay. I'm gonna take some. I use a lot of Walther's glue. I like Walther's glue. I'll put it around there. And then glue the little disc we just created onto the top of it. Let that dry for a second. Okay, the next step is to wire up the LEDs. I've prepared a couple pieces of wire here as leads for the LEDs, and just kind of just attach the resistor. The resistor I'm using, by the way, is 520 ohms because I got a 12-volt power source. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the two long leads and hook them to the one side of the wire, and I've already put a piece of shrink wrap on this lead wire. And then on the two short leads, I'll connect to the other end of the resistor and solder them all up. Okay, I'm going to go off camera while I solder these because it's going to take a little bit of time, and not to waste your time. Everybody knows how to solder. We'll solder these off camera and then come back. Okay, here we have our finished LED lights. We got the resistor wired to 2 of the leads, and the red wire here wired to the other 2 leads. So first thing we got to do is check the fit in our tube, and you can see fits in there nicely, so it'll come up to the bottom of the fireplace. Then the next thing we got to do is make sure it works. So I'm going to hook it up to a couple power leads here. Turn on the power, and here we have it. You can see the 2 flickering together. Okay, the next step will be to prepare our fireplace, or campfire. Okay, the next step is to build the campfire. What I did was, off camera, is I painted the top of that disc black. That'll help hide the white disc, and I should have mentioned that from the start, but I just painted some grimy black. Now what we got to do is build the campfire with the little logs. And what I did was, you can see this here, I got a piece of wood, and I drilled a 5/16 hole so I could stick that in there while I'm gluing it. What I'm going to use is Eileen's tacky glue. It works really well. And what you're going to do is build the like, just like you would build in a forest, or any place, a campfire. We're going to put some glue on the edges, and there's going to be a lot of drying time in between here. So I'll start it off, and then pick it back up after a bit. But what we're going to do is just lay the logs in here, the little logs. Easier said than done. Okay. We'll let those couple logs dry, and then we'll continue to build them up to make a little pyramid. Okay, be back after I build it up some. Okay, here we are after gluing a couple more courses of logs to the campfire. After I glued those several logs, I got about 3 layers of logs. I glued some screen dirt that I actually screened from my front yard around the disc to kind of hide the disc itself. And then I put a couple dabs of that white paint that I talked about in the beginning, right there, to make it the appearance of burnt wood. You remember, wood gets white after it's burning. Then I'll take the after the white dries, I'll take and dab a couple spots of the neon orange paint to make it appear like glowing embers. Well, here's our finished disc and tube. You can see I've put a couple little spots of the neon orange at the top of the logs to look like glowing embers. So what we're going to do now is sit down and we'll put this thing together and check it out. Okay, what we're going to do now is stick our 2 LED lights into the tube, which we just finished created. And what I've done now is made a little piece of a layout, scenery and everything. And we're going to stick the tube, just like you would be doing on your layout, into the hole. And what you would do is on a real layout, you would on your real layout, you would put some ground cover in there to kind of mask the seam. Now we're going to go ahead and power the thing up. Now I've darkened the room slightly from what it was, so you can see this a little more clear. Here's your campfire. A little camping scene. There's a guy with his car. Little tent. Maybe put the tent right there. And you got your little camping scene. Here's a close-up look of the finished scene. Well, that's the end of this Red Mountain Railroad video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again the next time. Take care.